Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11, the Atlanta Thunder Bay Eagles held a chili cook-off competition today as part of their annual football tailgate party. Plus, an Osneek man was taken into custody and charged after allegedly trying to shoot his wife and children. And many community members came out yesterday morning to walk for Alzheimer's awareness. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. WBKB News at 11 starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between, this is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. Your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
The Atlanta Bay Thunder Eagles held a football tailgate party and chili cook-off competition today at their Aries and Auxiliary building. The organization From People Helping People is a community-oriented group that donates $100 a month to nearby areas. Today, the Eagles hosted their second annual football tailgate party open to the public. There was a pump, pass, and kick competition to win NFL Lions jerseys, a raffle drawing, and lots of chili.
This came about last year. I was thinking, what could we do in the Eagles to bring people in, something different. I am a football freak. The Lions is my team. So I was thinking, what could I do to bring people in and have fun and just party?
This year, the chili cook-off competition had 9 entries in 3 different categories: hot, original, and spicy. Jerry Belcom won the hot category, Sharon Beard won original, and Diane Cornett won spicy. The Eagles hope to continue making this a bigger event, and that will begin with extending the chili cook-off next year. As the 30 Days of Peace continues, there was a service of prayer and meditation tonight in a time of war. The service tonight at Trinity Episcopal Church was sponsored by the Lutheran, Anglican, Roman Catholic, and First Congregational United Church of Christ, known as LARC, in support of the Alpena Peace Coalition. The significance of tonight's message was pictured on the church bulletin, which showed the faces of some military personnel who were recently killed in the line of duty in Afghanistan.
We're all in this together, for better, for worse. We contribute. No one is innocent, but we do have the opportunity and the hope of making a difference, of turning things in a different direction.
The 30 Days of Peace is a national event which was started in an effort to raise awareness for peace throughout the country. Events focused around peace will be going on in Alpena through October 10th. 2 families in Millersburg took part in a flagpole dedication yesterday at Blum's Landing in honor of their sons who they lost defending our country. Terry and Jan Blumberg built Blum's Landing in memory of their son, Sergeant Trevor Blumberg, who was killed in Iraq 10 years ago. Yesterday, they dedicated the flagpole to their friends Jack and Judy Darga, whose son, Chief Petty Officer Paul Darga, was killed in action in 2006. The Dargas have helped support Blum's Landing tirelessly since the early stages of the retreat 6 years ago.
The Old Glory Flag Company out of Livonia, Michigan donated the flagpole, and I determined that we should dedicate it to Paul Darga, their son, for what he did and for what their efforts were.
The VA of Sheboygan and the VFW Auxiliary were in attendance for this very special moment between the 2 families. Blum's Landing is a bed and breakfast retreat for military personnel and their families who have endured physical or mental wounds from serving our country.
Janet, my wife, and I saw Trevor. We took him out to dinner, and at dinner he said, "You know, this is going to be bad." He said, "I may not be back." He said, "Take care of my dog and take care of my guys."
Terry feels that this retreat is a way to give back to and help those who have served our country. Plus, he had to fulfill a promise to his son, who followed in his footsteps. Early yesterday morning, the Alpena County Sheriff's Department responded to a call in Osneek where a man was allegedly threatening to shoot his wife and children. A 45-year-old man was in possession of a rifle, making threats to his wife and children and also on himself. The wife was able to escape the home to call the sheriff, and the house was surrounded shortly after. Upon arrival, deputies saw the suspect exiting the residence and he was immediately taken into custody. He was then charged with possession of a firearm with unlawful intent, a 5-year felony, and possession of a firearm while intoxicated. The Alpena County Library hosted a 24-hour readathon that began yesterday morning at 10. It was an effort to raise money for cancer research. Participants were asked to donate $1 for every hour that they read and were encouraged to get sponsorships from family and friends. The money collected from the readathon will be given to the Lions Club to add to the money raised from this year's Relay for Life.
I think it's another event, and it's something, they do such a great job with Relay for Life, which has become just a huge community event. So this is just another piece that we can add to that.
Yesterday, there were children's events from 10 until noon and poetry and music from 2 to 4. There was also a lock-in last night from midnight until 8 o'clock this morning. Teens could participate in activities including giveaways, poetry creations, snacks, and drinks.
It seems like today everyone is affected by cancer in some way, so it's very important, I think, that we show solidarity and support for the people that are going through it and families. And then as someone who loves working with books, I just love to see the community out and reading, so I think it just brings two really great causes together.
The event turned out to be successful, and library staff hopes to continue bringing new fundraising ideas to the table. People gathered at Bayfield Park yesterday morning to take part in the Alzheimer's Association's Walk to End Alzheimer's. The 2.5-mile walk around downtown Alpena was a free event to bring attention and awareness to the cause and to show families dealing with Alzheimer's that they are not alone. Walkers were given flowers to carry as they made their journey. The different colors represented the 4 different types of people affected by Alzheimer's, those including people living with the disease, caregivers, advocates, and those who just wanted to be a part of the event.
Unfortunately, every 68 seconds, somebody in the nation is diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and it's a pretty alarming rate. We're in the top 10 of diseases, and we have no cure. We have no prevention, and it's starting to affect more and more people. So when you think, the number is 1 in 2 people over the age of 85 has Alzheimer's disease, it's pretty scary.
The Walk to End Alzheimer's is a nationwide event. The Michigan chapter has put on walks to end Alzheimer's for 22 years now. This year it was also approved that tax forms will have an option to make a donation to the Alzheimer's Association straight out of your taxes. The funds will stay local, with 40% going to Alzheimer's research. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, Michigan Representative Mike Rogers appeared on CNN State of the Union today to discuss Syria and Russia. Plus, numbers show just how much the Hispanic population in the U.S. is growing. All that and more when we return. Thanks for joining us tonight. In State News, Oversight and Government Reform Committee Chairman Representative Mike Rogers and House Intelligence Committee Representative Adam Schiff of California were guests on CNN State of the Union today, discussing Syria and Russia and the U.S. current waiting game. Rogers says that Putin is engaging in a chess game and got everything he wants out of the tentative agreement reached. He says the negotiations were a big win for the Russian leader. In setting out one of the most ambitious arms control efforts in history, the U.S. and Russia reached an agreement to inventory Syria's chemical weapons program and seize all of its components. The agreement includes imposing penalties if the Assad government fails to comply. In a written statement following the agreement, Obama said the world expects Syria to live up to its public commitments to hand over its chemical weapons stockpile. Warning that the U.S. was prepared to act if Syria falls short, he also cautioned that more work remains even after the progress the deal represents. And now it's time for some of today's top financial stories with your Money Watch. Policymakers meet this week to decide the future of their bond buying program. The Federal Reserve has said for months that it will begin to taper its stimulus program if it sees enough improvement in the economy. Wall Street expects the Fed to begin scaling back the amount of bonds it buys each month. That program has helped keep interest rates near historic lows. September has been very strong for stocks. A new study predicts the number of Hispanic-owned businesses in the U.S. is expected to nearly double this year from 2002. That would bring the total number of Hispanic-owned businesses in the country to 3.2 million. Experts say the number shows just how quickly the Hispanic population is growing. Southwest Airlines wants to do away with no-shows. Passengers who do not cancel their bookings on Southwest will now forfeit the ticket's value if they don't show up. In the past, customers were able to use the value of the unused ticket toward another flight within 1 year. That meant seats flew empty when Southwest could have sold them to someone else. Southwest passengers can still change non-refundable tickets ahead of time without penalty. GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan put together some state and local gas prices. The highest price for gas in Alpena is coming in at $3.56 at O'Peaches, and the lowest is at $3.47 at Murphy, USA. Across the state, the highest gas price is $4.25 in Copper Harbor. The lowest price for gas in Michigan is at $3.12 in Lambertville. There is still much more to come on WBKB News at 11. Shannon McGrattan will be in with a look at sports, and I'll be right back with your weather forecast. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It's now time for a look at the weather. Today, the high was 60 degrees. The normal high for September 15th is 69 degrees, so we were a little cooler for this time of year. And then the record high for this day was 95 degrees back in 1939. The low today was 53 degrees. The normal low was 47, so we were higher for this time of year. The record low for this day was 26 degrees back in 1964. The sunrise this morning was at 7:13 a.m. and the sunset tonight was around 7:45 p.m. Current conditions, it is a little bit rainy. It's 52 degrees currently. The humidity is at 96%. However, with the winds, it feels like 42 degrees. Moving on to our satellite and radar, you can see we had some rain showers earlier today, but now it looks like those are moving south and to the east of us. Tonight we will have scattered showers, low of 48 degrees and north winds at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow is looking like it's going to be sunny with a high of 56 degrees, winds 10 miles per hour out of northeast. Tomorrow night is clear with a low of 38 degrees, northeast winds at 5 miles per hour. And now taking a look at our week ahead in our extended weather forecast. Tuesday is supposed to be sunny with a high of 65 degrees. Wednesday we have a chance of showers with a high of 72 degrees. Thursday and Friday both look like a chance of showers and thunderstorms. We're going to get up to 79 degrees on Thursday, and then we're going to fall back a little bit. Temperatures will only reach 69 degrees on Saturday with a slight chance of showers. And now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent in by Russell Sanderson near Hubbard Lake. Russell says this mother and her little ones came out to see them in their front yard for about 10 minutes last night. He said it was quite funny to see all the little ones trying to catch up as their mom later led them into the trees for the night. Thank you, Russell, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email a photo along with a short description to news@WBKB11.com. And now it's time for some of today's top medical stories with your Health Watch. The Centers for Disease Control says there have already been about 160 cases of measles this year. On average, there are 60 a year. Most cases are linked to people bringing it here from overseas, and most are people who have not been vaccinated. The Food and Drug Administration wants stronger warning labels on prescription painkillers like Oxycontin and Vicodin. The new label reminds doctors and patients the drugs can be deadly if misused and are only for patients in constant pain. Abuse of prescription painkillers is up more than 12%. Researchers in New Zealand put electronic cigarettes to the test to see if they work better than nicotine patches at helping smokers kick the habit. Scientists used more than 600 smokers in their experiment and found that slightly more e-cigarette users were able to quit smoking for at least 6 months, but it was statistically a tie. Bad weather is hampering search and rescue efforts in Colorado. The National Guard has rescued about 2,000 people, some by helicopter, in what it calls one of the biggest aerial rescue operations since Katrina. But hundreds are still unaccounted for days after historic flooding. CBS's Adriana Diaz is in Longmont, Colorado with the latest.
Heavy rain is causing more problems for flood-ravaged parts of Colorado. Crews worked through the rain Sunday to pump out water and mud from Patricia Birdsong's basement. Flash floods swept through her Boulder home last week.
It was with such force that it blew our basement window out, and almost immediately it filled up with about 5 feet of water.
The Colorado Office of Emergency Management estimates flooding damaged more than 17,000 homes and destroyed about 1,500 others. Floodwaters cut off entire Rocky Mountain foothill communities. Sunday's bad weather grounded helicopters used to rescue the stranded. But National Guard troops still brought people to safety by land, including Christy Peak and her daughter Jasmine.
The roads all around our neighborhood have been taken out completely, so we had to go out through somebody's yard, down a little back road of dirt.
Officials say there are hundreds of people unaccounted for. People searching for loved ones are coming to evacuation centers like this one. They're leaving messages on boards hoping for any word on the fate of their family members and friends. Sandy Sharp and Bernard Morse escaped the flooding in Lyons and came to check in.
We didn't want to put people at risk when they didn't have to, looking for us.
Rescue crews say that as they get into towns they haven't been able to reach, and as cell phone service is restored, the number of missing people is expected to drop dramatically. Adriana Diaz, CBS News, Longmont, Colorado.
Sports is coming up next, but first Shannon McGrattan is here with a preview of what's ahead. Shannon?
Alpena taking on Saginaw for the second straight day at Northern Lights Arena, while the Lions head to Cardinals territory for their second game of the season. Stay right here on WBKB for all those highlights and more as your news continues. And be sure to tune into WBKB News tomorrow night at 6 and 11 because Travis Kozak will reveal the 5th down player of the week.
Thank you, Shannon. And coming up next on WBKB News at 11, cooking star Paula Deen is back in the kitchen after a tough year. That story when we return. It's been a tough year for cooking star Paula Deen, but it looks like her fans have weathered the storm with her. Today marked Deen's first appearance in months after a lawsuit caused the celebrity cook to lose several. It's been a tough year for cooking star Paula Deen, but it looks like her fans have finally weathered the storm with her. Today marked Deen's first appearance in months after a lawsuit caused the celebrity cook to lose several sponsors. The Queen of Southern Cooking wept as she took the stage in Texas. Hundreds of fans gave her a standing ovation. The 66-year-old says it was her first time out in 3 months. Before she started cooking, she thanked her fans for all of the love and encouragement they have shown her. A firestorm erupted when a racial discrimination lawsuit was filed against the former Food Network star. During a deposition, Deen admitted to using the N-word. In the fallout, major sponsors dropped her, including Target and Walmart. Deen posted a series of apologies online following the controversy. A judge dismissed the lawsuit last month.
And remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on more news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
And that will do it for tonight's show, but be sure to catch Kelsey Fabian here tomorrow morning on 11.3. Have a great night.